All right. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. What's going on, guys? Welcome. You guys are here for the first panel of Colorado Springs Comic Con. Awesome, awesome. I love it. I love it. So, if you're here, I'm assuming that you are fans of the Terrifier series. I'm assuming you're also fans of the gentleman I'm about to bring out here. Before we do that, just a couple of things. Just as was mentioned before, I'm going to ask a couple of questions, but I'm going to try to allow as much time as possible for you guys to ask your questions. I only ask that you guys try to limit it to one, so that way we can get as many questions in there as possible. Is that fair enough? All right, cool, cool. So without further ado, can I bring out onto the stage the one, the only, Bill Diamond?
How are you?
What's going on, sir?
Good.
I think. Hold on. Here you go.
The first one, boy.
There you go, man.
I started out, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Hit the ground running.
How's everybody?
Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You hear me?
All right, cool.
You can hear me without this thing. I got a big mouth. I'm a New Yorker, not in Denver. So we have big mouths out there. How you guys doing? Everybody ready? Having fun this weekend? You got a lot of great people here, so it's good to see you all. And you too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to run into you again. I know it's been a minute, but it's always
been a
great
minute.
to see you.
Yes, it
It's
has.
always great to see you. But just to hit the ground running, I guess I'll start first by can you talk about the fascinating story of getting involved with Terrifier? I understand that it came by way of Santa. I'm kidding. With Dan,
Well,
with Dan,
Santa's right there.
Dan, with your friend Dan Roback.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was working on Dan's, getting ready to do one of Dan's movies. I had finished one with him, which is coming out this year, I hope. We've been
Blue
waiting.
Tuesday Flu. Is that?
Tuesday Flu, right. Good memory.
I try.
And then we were going to do St. Nick in Bethlehem, which is out, and it's a really delightful little film. And I was at Canada, where Mike's my road manager, so he makes sure I get everywhere. So without him, so you got to give him a big applause there.
The unsung hero.
I wouldn't get anywhere. So what was happening was they were doing Dan Roebuck's makeup for Terrifier. So then Damien knew what he wanted. And I knew Damien. And they were asking about certain sets and elements that needed to be done. And it was on a larger scale than they were even used to. And Damien and Phil used to do everything, and Mike Levy and those guys kind of, because they started, but they needed to go bigger. And I guess they were talking, and Dan said, "You need to connect with Bill. He's doing a show with you up in Canada. Why don't you sit down and talk to him, because he could design or build whatever you need."
Gotcha.
So that's really how it happened.
Okay. All right. And I mean, considering how diverse your body of work is, whether we're talking about puppetry or whether we're talking about, as you mentioned, effects and set building and all of that, can you talk about that process in doing this film? Like, was it the same as it had been with other projects, or did it provide new wrinkles that forced you to
again, it was creating a world for art. No different if I was creating a world for, Kermit, or if I was creating a world for any of these other characters. We knew where Art lived, what he did. Now it's going to be a Christmas set, and it was a period. Damien likes the '80s movies. He really likes that style, so he wanted it to be more looking like that, very whimsical at that point, and different. So, but we were also, he never shot in a sound stage. So my studio, I have sound stages there, so it was mostly filmed there. And we were able to do a lot of the elements for the house. Even though the house was shot in Long Island, there were many elements that we kept on building onto the house. Originally, we were only supposed to do this one living room scene, and then it expanded as the movie went on. And Damien would call Phil and say, "Do you think he could do the corner of a room? I need a shot at a..." Because in a house, you don't have the room you do on a soundstage. So the staircases, it was a small house, so having a staircase there, you can't put the big cameras on the dollies and everything else, so it became an issue for them. So that's when I said, why don't I just build you the whole house? Why don't we just do the living room, dining room, whatever. And when you can't do it there, you can fill it in over here. And that's how that. So we built actually 2 other living rooms for that set and many other sets. And we did the hell set there too. So there were many things that came down and went up and down and went up.
And I'm sure that had to been, awesome, because unlike a lot of films, with this film, so much of it is, well, pretty much everything that they've done was there on camera versus what you have with other films.
Everything's practical.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about this, outside of a lot of Christmas stuff that we had to put in, which we've been selling off some of the Christmas props, is the amount of blood. We're still cleaning up the studio with blood. I mean, we'd use almost 75,000 gallons of blood in this movie. And we're still, thank God for Dawn, the cleaner, because that's the only thing that cleans it. And Damien likes a certain blood. So I think I now have royalties on Dawn Cleaner. I did get involved with the stocks on that.
Very nice.
Yeah. Because we're still cleaning it up. And it's really funny because you would have, Fraggles or monsters or anything over there, and then you'd have art over there and blood over there. So it was quite a mix. Audrey too didn't mind it, from Little Shop. She just wanted to get involved, but yeah.
Awesome. So last question, if we're talking about just the difference, just as I mentioned, of practical versus what we're seeing more and more of, visual effects, do you feel like now that we're getting more of those films that we're kind of going back into that time where more films are relying on practical, that we're going to see that trend change? Or
I was just in where were we, Mike? To the Mohegan Sun.
Where in the world was Bill Diamond?
Where was I? All right, and I was asked that question about AI, and I said, I think you definitely know a real film from an AI film. You can see it in a photograph on your phone. I think it'll get to the point that it depends on them, and they'll still want that practical things. I don't think it'll change too much. I mean, we've gone through this in the 90s when they said, oh, okay, now computers will take over. To a point, we got dinosaurs out of it, but I think to a point, but
they're still awesome practically.
They still want that Ray Harryhausen. They still want that stuff out there. What's interesting when we get back to blood, before I do Terracon, Damien has asked me to come out to Universal. How many of you know that Universal is now doing Terrifier Horror Nights in California and in Florida?
Awesome.
So if you want to go to the Horror Nights, it's all Terrifier. So in about 2 weeks, I think we're flying out to kick off the Horror Nights in LA, which is really funny because it shows you how popular Terrifier is. Here you are, a major motion picture studio that recognizing an independent film that has blown off the doors, and they're doing a Halloween attraction all around a movie they had nothing to do with. Absolutely. They would like to have the royalties on it, but they have nothing to do with it. So we're kicking off Terrifier at Universal. So if you go to Florida or you go there and you want to go to Halloween Nights, and then I'm flying back to meet the guys to be at Terracon, so I'll fly back in time to do Terracon.
Okay, well, I'm assuming that with all of this Terrifier involvement, that you'll be doing more. Hopefully.
Yeah, we're supposed to do 4.
Okay.
Awesome. We don't know when. I may know more when I get back from LA. So anything's possible. But that's really up to Damien.
All right, excellent. Well, I'll open it up to you all. Whoever would like to ask the first question. Do we have one here for Bill? Anyone out here? We can also ask the birthday girl. Yes, go ahead.
Birthday girl?
Go for it, yeah. I'm about to say the birthday girl that's here. Birthday girl, go ahead. I have a microphone here. And we have a mic, so go ahead. Yeah. You have one right behind you.
I have a mic, you have a mic. My mic's there.
I don't really need one, but I'll do it anyway. I'm just really curious in terms of practical effects. When you're getting ready to set up either a sound stage or just a set or a practical effect, a puppet, what is your artistic process look like in terms of drawing inspiration, research? I don't know. They're just really interesting.
Well, it depends. I mean, usually I'll do a quick sketch of what something will look like. Usually it's just a one-off, So like with Terrifier, I did, a sketch of the hell set, and a lot of people do a lot of it. I'll do a quick storyboard type of thing, and that's where it comes from. So we got a good idea of what we're walking into and how that character will get manipulated or how that set will move, or because the sets become as much as characters as well as the character that's in the set. So because it has to reflect what the world is going to be. So that would be probably the answer to that.
Awesome. Thanks for your question. All right. Did we have another one?
Happy birthday out there, by the way.
We're gonna try to put Ben to work with his mic here. Get his steps in. Do we have another question with Bill? Yes.
So what I was wondering is, which scene do you think is like the most craziest scene that you have done?
In Terrifier or
in
Muppets?
Terrifier. Oh, like in the Terrifier series.
Toss up, right?
That's a hard one because they're always pushing the envelope. Damien's always pushing the envelope on anything, and he wants more and more. That's blood. That's why I want to see what Universal does with all this blood, because I ain't cleaning it up. I can tell you right now, it's not happening. But yeah, it's really that. It's how far they feel they can go. I mean, to do what they're doing and find something that's not been done before. So, it's like, I'll give you an example. We were talking about bringing one of the sets to a show. Well, we bring elements of Terrifier to some of the shows. It's, what we have is Christmas balls here. But so the thing is how much of the real set. So I said to Damien, why don't we do one of the big cons and bring a real set off our lot, off our soundstage, and re-put the whole Christmas set outside of what the fire took out, put it all back together again, and let people go on to the real set. You've seen simulations. People have done some nice but this would be the actual one. So Damien says, oh, that would be great. Let's do that. And then he's there. How many of you saw the movie? Okay, so I can, what happens.
Yeah.
I don't have to spoil it. So then he says, all right. I said, we'll put it up. We'll put Art the Clown there, do photo ops, let people see them, blah, 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 all the whole thing. And then he's there. He gets to the scene that is the climax of that wants to blow everything up now. And now he wants to add all the body parts of the kids and stuff. And I'm like, I think you've gone a little too far here. This is not the movie we're shooting about. And he goes, did I go dark? Yeah. That's all. That shows you his mind.
Very far from Sesame Street. Very far. very far.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have another question?
Yeah.
I wanted to see if I can get someone in the back. Did either of you guys have a question? Don't be shy. And if you have an additional question, feel free. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot, birthday girl. Did you have a question? I wanted to put you on the spot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So after we blew everything up, which was not... So when we built that set, it was built in the soundstage. Then it went from the soundstage to Staten Island, where we put it at the mall. And that's where it was. A lot of people couldn't understand what was going on at that point. They didn't know Terrifier was filming, and it was really early for Christmas. So you could see people up above going, why? What's with this? Until the cameras are out. What? So everyone is asking what's being filmed. So I think one of the crew members turned around and said it was a vegan mayonnaise commercial. So we're all walking around until you see half the crew with Terrifier on their shirt. You knew that was out of the bag at that point, especially when Art the Clown comes walking out. It's over with. So we then shoot that. We send it back to my studio in New York, and it has to be rebuilt outside because it's going to be blown up, elements of it on fire. So we set it up. The special effects guys put in what they need to put in, and when it blows up, it took all day to do it. Set up all the cameras because there's multiple cameras. Shoot it. Get ready to blow it up. It's blown up, and as the crew's going out to get their cars later that night, there's body parts on each one of their cars, like hands over here and body part. And we're picking these things. It's like, you see one right here on the car, and they're like, "Where'd that come from?" Flew right over the building. Yeah, right over the building. So it was all over the place. So, so we may still dig somebody up somewhere along the line. I don't know where, Yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, we found some like little pieces of. They're still cleaning things up. Yeah. I still got the girl in the hamper back there where the rats went in, but that's a different thing.
Well, switching gears a bit. As I said, diverse, body of work, and talking about, because I want to, be able to. Looks like we have some time to be able to talk about puppets and that process too, because unlike many of your contemporaries that may focus on one particular discipline, your expertise extends beyond that and going through different disciplines. So can you talk about that, of how that is a luxury of being able to do many different disciplines in that field?
Well, with puppetry, it's not only the physical character. We do a lot of commercials and things like
Sure.
that. So there was many a time where they wanted to have me just blow up not blow up physically, puppeteer some elements that a cat would go by an electrical outlet and have it do what it's not supposed to do,
Right.
and make things do what it's not supposed to do a lot of times. So that's still a kind of form of puppetry. I mean, right now we're doing a new series did anybody ever see a magazine called Eerie and Creepy years ago? It was a comic book magazine. So right now, Eerie and Creepy are being made into puppet characters to start off a whole new short series on the books that were there. We'll use real actors, but Eerie and Creepy will be puppets. And that's flying off our other series, which is Basil Go-Go's on the Road. All this comes out in October on our Roku channel. So you can watch me and Mike travel around the globe and just laugh at us like we usually do. So, the adventures are where we wind up. Between a show or two, with our producers. We were just in Arizona for another show. I was supposed to be there for Days of the Dead for Terrifier, and it got canceled. So we were out there filming. So we went to OK Corral, and Mike decides that he's like, well, who's going to buy dinner? I always am the one that winds up buying dinner. So I said, I'm not buying it this time. We put it in television, and then we made the producers buy it. But you'd have to watch the show to see what happened. So there. But again, puppetry takes us everywhere outside of just the thing. It's designing a character, making a character come to life, making a show come to life. And if you got a good story, it all comes from a good story. So once stories are really, really good, then our job is to create the world out of that story.
Gotcha. All right. Did we have any other? Yes. Go for it.
You have one.
I have one. So
Yes.
for a short period of time on like social media, there was a trend going around where if you could take a live action movie, and make it all puppets, with the exception of maybe like one or two main characters. And it was going around where there were a bunch of people throwing that out. You as a puppeteer, if you were to take on that challenge, maybe to take any live action movie and create the character's puppet, is there anything that you would like to challenge yourself to do something like that? Or what would you find challenging enough to do with something like that?
With making puppets from a real movie?
To take like a live action movie and turn all the characters into puppets. Because I mean, as an example,
Be too bloody as Terrifier, I could tell you right now.
Yeah.
Just so.
Because I mean, I know one example that I always said is I would like to see the Boondock Saints done completely puppet, with the exception of Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery.
I think Norman wouldn't mind, because he always asks me, can you make a puppet of me? I said, I don't need to. You're already there. But I think it would be fun. The issue is that, I mean, the Muppets have done that. to a point. It's not like it hasn't been done. The question is, we're in such a digital world with animation and everything on the camera that they're doing it with everything now. So it would have to be pretty unique. I'm not sure what that it would be. Good question, though.
Yes, it is. All right. Do we have another question? Yes, sir.
Who inspires you, like Jim Henson or Tom Savini?
Well, I've known, of course, working for Jim. Jim always did inspire because he kind of really liked the fact that, he would let us take his ideas, sketch, and turn it into something. So he would come at you going, but what if you tried this? Or you showed him something. So that, yes, there are people today that inspire me to work with them and do things. I mean, Damien's one of them that it just, his ideas are where his head is. And for us to be able to flip it and make this, revolutionary horror character. But I like going back and seeing the art of these people. I mean, I grew up with Basil Gogos, and that's why I'm doing a show on him. If you know who he was, he did all the magazine covers. But all the people that Basil, Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper and Ozzy and all those people that we've known, how one artist influenced a show like this. I mean, I could walk around and find you any of them best. So it's really interesting doing this series because it's beyond a man and it's beyond just what I did with him, how his art or even our art or Jim's art has brought you all together to enjoy something. So I think it's all of that. I like walking the floor and seeing who the next one is, out there. I said that with Damien, and then he wound up working with me. So, I tried that when I tried going to these shows that had nothing to do with puppets and had nothing to do with a movie I was involved with, anything at all. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll collect something. So I started putting these great little sculptures of Spawn together. And I liked it when it came out. I'm like, this has nothing to do with me. This is great. Till Todd asked me to work for him on Spawn, and then I discharged that. I said, okay. So if I see something, I'm going to try not to be involved. Because it always happens.
Awesome. Thank you for your question. Yes, sir. Right here.
So jumping from puppets to like a horror franchise is kind of like a big leap. Is there anything else that you would like to jump into, like dip your toes into it? Because you made that huge leap from puppets to horror.
Well, I did horror before Terrifier. I worked on a lot of other horror movies. I mean, I worked on Gremlins, so but puppets were in there. But I worked on Back to the Future Ride, which is not puppets, but again, we've tried different things, and I've worked in sports, and I'm not even a sports guy. I used to design everything for the Yankees. Figure that one out. So I have moved all the way across from commercials to that because puppetry is a manipulation. I mean, you go back to when computers came out and you used to watch when IBM came out with Charlie Chaplin, starring I'm the one who manipulated all the mouse that was brand new coming in and all that. So I've seen it being always reused and now going back. So it's really funny how there's probably something you have seen and didn't even know I had anything to do with it. And then I won't tell you I did.
Right, gotcha.
To expand on that,
Yeah.
Was there anything that you had you haven't really dug your feet into yet, but you always wanted to get a chance to get into? Is kind of what I meant. My bad. You've never really got your hands dirty.
Well, I am. I mean, I'm doing now with the eerie and creepy now because I grew up on those, and it's kind of nice to be able to. And I'm going to direct some of those. Not that I haven't directed before, but I'll direct a few. It's kind of nice taking that comic book, starting it off with two very well known comic hosts that have never been puppeteered, and then getting actors to tell a story and taking the comic book end and reconverting it into short stories. It's almost like Twilight Zone. It's almost like doing Outer Limits. Or it's almost like any of the older shows being retold very lightly without big superstar actors and things. So I'm having fun with that.
One of my favorite first horror films I watched and I kind of grew up with was Puppet Master, and was kind of a mixture of the two. And it's kind of like one of those things that kind of got me into the horror film and stuff like that. If you had a chance to bring that back, would you bring back like the Puppet Master series?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I just did the Revenge of what was it? Leprechaun? Yeah, that they did. So I built stuff for that. You wouldn't even know I was involved with that part. So yeah, probably if they came to me, I think Damien gets asked this question a lot. What horror movie would he like to remake? I guess I wouldn't mind doing Puppet Master if somebody asked. You know.
All right, cool. Thank you for your question. Yes, do we have another? As I said, I want to put Ben to work to be able to get to our questions. I know you say you need to get your
No, they're
steps in.
terrified right now, so they don't want to ask me anything.
I know. It's the first day. But yes, far in the back.
Well, I got thrown out of my house, and I was on a street corner once. No, I'm just kidding. It was a great way of waving down taxis in Manhattan because you have to keep your arms up for a very long time. No, that's not true either. But the real story is that when I started doing some stop motion animation, I loved Harryhausen. I got to know him later on, and I love doing it. It's a great art form. We are going to do some of it, and we have, but it was too slow for me. I needed to finish this today and start something tomorrow. And so as Jim was doing his thing, I knew a few people that I was working on Sesame Street with strictly from the technical side. And, through that, getting to know Carol Spinney before I knew Jim, who played Big Bird. That's what, I was playing with puppets at that point, but I was like, maybe this is the way to tell the stories. There was always room for that.
Gotcha.
So that's a long way of getting to your answer.
All good. All right. Yes, we have one there in the far back. Yes.
Well, that's a good question. Usually when I design one, okay, I don't always build anymore. I mean, I did build Eerie and Creepy, but I do have other builders that do all the characters for me now, just because I don't have the time.
Delegate.
What?
Delegate.
Yeah. Well, Jim did too. He didn't build any of the stuff, so he designed it. So I'll design it. I like the design, and then picking who will play that. The puppeteer has to be all of it, and if he doesn't have the right flow or can't work that character. So once I build it, I have somebody in mind for it, and I have a good idea of who would be able to deliver that. Puppeteering is a very demanding performance. Everything has to be in this 18 inches. So you have to fully be an actor, but and I always say Italians are great puppeteers because they talk with their hands. But you have to be able to create this and be able to, I always joke, most of my career has been under the stage, not on top of it, so you're crammed into these little places. I've done them in helicopters and I've done them in planes where they flip the plane. I'm in the back corner with the character going like this. So there's a lot of times that, I always joked with Jim, you've got the smallest character, Kermit, but you give the bigger one to the little guy, because you can stick him in. Because Jim was, 6'4", so he didn't really get into those things too early. They would raise the stage so he could do it. But normally all the other stuff now we have. So that performance has to be brought into all this. You have to know how to work with the television. You have to perform it live. And with puppetry, I always tell everybody there are puppeteers that have never been on stage. And they're not builders. So it's very rarely you got a designer, a builder, and a puppeteer. Doesn't happen. The other thing is you got to be this performer that can bring, if I brought a character out to you, that character becomes alive and you forget me. That's what really has to happen. And that's the whole world behind the illusion.
Gotcha. I was going to say, you do have a funny story about that. You were mentioning about being under the stage, but I know you had a funny story that I recall about being stuck in one. Stuck in
Oh, from Little Shop. Yeah, 'cause
I don't know if you guys have heard.
I've done theater. I did the makeup for Phantom. So there's other things that have nothing to do with it. Phantom, but I also was the puppeteer for Little Shop of Horror for many, many, many years. I probably have done it more from the 80s all the way up to the present. Now, Noel McNeil and a lot of other people are doing it. But I was on stage, a stage like this, it's a thrust stage in the character. And when you're doing a live performance, all the magic has to go behind the curtains and all that. Well, they sent me out to do the end cap of Reservations or Feed Me. And they all went to intermission. The audience left to go get their drinks, and the crew left. And I'm sitting on that stage in this character going, hello, anybody going to bring me back out, or bring me back in? So once you're in there, you're stuck. And then they're all like, wait a minute, where's Bill? Oh, he's still out there. Get him back in. So that happens, especially in live theater, Yeah. Or the elevator gets stuck, or, the thrust stage doesn't come back, or, somebody gets hurt, or with Phantom. And that was one of the things when we did Phantom, Bob Cuccioli played the Phantom. And so I created the makeup, and usually didn't have to be too far. And he got hurt on one of the machines in the stunts in rehearsal and broke his leg. We took him out, and premiere is almost there, so no one could sing his stuff. So we brought him back and had a cast, and we put him up in a booth, and I had a character actor, one that knew how to do it. And I said, well, let's do it like Lon Chaney did it. And I'll cover up his mask so you can't see his lips. I had Bob sing it from the booth in the back. The audience is out there. He mimed it here. I manipulated there, and Bob sang it up there. And we put it all together, and you would never know that it wasn't just three other people doing the whole show at that one time. And that's that. And then when he did get on stage, I had to make him a boot that went over the cast. So now this Phantom limped. So it's not just his face; it's now his deformity. So you have to kind of do all those things on the fly.
Wow!
So puppetry, design, all
Fun
comes
of theater.
Yeah, all in theater.
Theater major, fun of theater.
Well,
did we have any other questions? Yes.
As somebody who works in the horror industry, another trend we're seeing is a lot of these public domain characters coming up front to become horror films. Steamboat Willie, all the 100 Acre Wood characters, even Popeye now. What are your thoughts on that? And if there was a character you would like to try and tackle, either from a director standpoint or a special effects standpoint, what would it be, do you think?
I wouldn't mind redoing Metropolis. With the robots. The female robot, I can't think of her name right now, but you wouldn't have C-3PO if it wasn't for her, because he's modeled after her from that movie from 1922. So I'd like to see that, probably get redone where it would be very whimsical, and fun. It is fun doing all these horror films. And now they're doing the hooked on where you take your phone and you turn it this way and you can read your favorite book. What do they call it? Romance novel or anything. We're shooting a lot of those. So they keep calling me about turning werewolves and vampires into that. And I'm like, okay, here we go here. Now we're on the phone. We're turning the phone this way and we're shooting those things. So it's interesting how the technology is being redone. Do you guys read those books on film and seeing them come to life? Yeah, that's something else that's going on too. So
Gotcha. All right. Do we have another question? Yes, ma'am.
Well, first of all, it's not my imagination. That's Damien's. Okay.
Yeah.
We just bring it to life. You want to know that question? I can answer it for you right here. You all want to know about Art the Clown? You want to know right now? How many of you want to know? Good. Go see 4.
He's right. But yes, did we have go see 4? But yes, did we have another question? No? All right. So I want to give a round of applause for Bill Diamond, please.
Thanks.
Thank you guys so much.
We'll see you at the booth.
See you at booth W19, correct?
Yep, that's what it is.
All right, W19.
Yeah.
So check out Bill Diamond Can we give another round of applause one last time?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys so much.